did meth do for you?
It made me confident in the moment, but then when it made me sad, it made me really sad. And when it made me angry, it made me really angry. And it made me behave in ways that I wouldn't behave now or even prior to my addiction. You know, like Willie talks about the line that he wouldn't cross. I eventually got those in my addiction. I eventually said, you know, I won't go purchase meth myself. I'll just get it from my drug dealer that he gives it to me. You know, I won't go and shoplift from stores. And then that's how I was eating every day, is I would shoplift from stores. You know, I started to draw these boundaries that I wouldn't cross, and that eventually I did cross. You know, I started to come to the point where I was like, I'm an addict. I know I'm an addict, but I'm not that bad of an addict, because I'm not going to cross this line. And then I didn't have, you know, the self-worth enough to not cross those lines. I didn't have enough integrity with myself to not cross those lines. I would draw those lines, but eventually I knew I was going to cross them. As soon as I drew them, eventually I knew I was going to cross them.
And do you feel like there was something specific, because you had tried drinking, you had tried weed, and always just been like, you know, like whatever. Mm-hmm. But was there something specific that meth was doing for you that just made it something that you always had to have, or do you feel like it was strictly a chemical dependency?
Well, it made me feel happier. It made me feel lighter on my feet. It made me feel like I could do anything. You know, it just gave me that mentality of, I'm so great and I can do anything that I put my mind to.
Which is like a stark contrast from the way you had felt about yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Just in a normal state of mind.
Yeah, and so the opposite of it was, you know, I was ready to get up for work in the morning, which weeks ahead I didn't want to get up and go to work. Mm-hmm. I had been trying to get out of work, and now I wanted to get up and go to work, and I wanted to be active at work. And then progressively I started to be able to stay up longer. I started to be able to complete more tasks. I started to be more creative. And then eventually it turned into a dependency on...
That creation kind of turns into a fucking tornado.
Right. Yeah, and then it turned into, I couldn't get up and go to work unless I used meth. I couldn't get myself into the shower unless I used meth. I couldn't go and do my laundry unless I used meth. And so it started to become this dependency on the meth, that anything I did, I would bribe myself with using meth. You know, I can take a hit and then I'll make this important phone call, and as soon as I finish the important phone call, I can take another hit. And that's eventually what my life became, that before I did any task, I could have a hit of meth, and then after I did any task, I could have a hit of meth. So it started out, I don't think, as a dependency, but then it became one very, very quickly.
Right, yeah.